everybody, my name's Steve, I'm the British Railroader and welcome to my model railroad room for part 2 of what I'm calling Project 2790. So in my last video I discussed with you my plans to upgrade an Atlas Trainman GP38-2 and went through some of the bits and pieces that I've already managed to gather to start the project. So today what I'm going to do is actually officially start the project, and I'm starting with the lift rings and the grab irons. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down onto the table and have a little look, and I'll also show you some of the other bits and pieces that I've got in place ready for the project. Okay, here we are down on the workbench, and here's the body of 2790. So just to make it easier to add the details, I've taken off all of the handrails and they're safely stored away. I've also obviously taken it off the chassis, just makes it easier to handle. So the first thing we're going to look at is lift rings. Now, if I just hold this very, very still and right in the middle, and then we focus on here, you can see that I've already added some of them just here, 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 and here. And again, if we go down here, we've got the ones at the back. So what I've done is I've left off the ones just here. As you can see, there's a little nub that needs to come off and we need to drill a hole in it. So we have one there, and then one on this side, and then one in the middle here. And what I did to remove these was, I'm just going to put this down here, and hopefully this will all stay in focus. So I took a sharp number 11 blade and literally just with one pass, very gently took it off. And it leaves just a little white patch fairly flush with the surface of the loco. I'm not going to scrape it down because if I do that, it's more than likely just going to scrape off more of the paint. Now that in itself is not too much of a problem, because if I zoom back out again, you will see that I have a pot of true color paint. This is CSX Y2K grey. I'm very lucky in the fact that over here in the UK, I'm able to get this paint through Mech Models. I will put their website address below. They have a good range of the true color paints. So if you're a modeler of American railroads, you're looking for a specific color, then, you know, have a look at Mech Models, because they certainly have quite a range of American paints. I got, in fact, I got the Y2K yellow and the Y2K blue as well. So I've got the whole range for this loco. I also have the newer YN3 blue, which I've used on a different loco. Anyway, and as you can see where I've done these lift rings, you can see where I've had to paint a few bits and pieces. I had a slight blemish on this one, so the paint has patched it up. But the good thing is once this model's finished and weathered, that should be covered up quite nicely and just look like everyday usage. Okay, let's just move back here. Now, I'm going to focus back out again. Apologies, you can tell I'm not a cameraman. So we've cut it off, we've got a little white spot, then we need to drill a hole. So the first thing we need to do is get a starting point, and I've got this tool here. It's like a scriber that I got online. I'd love to be able to give you a link, but I just cannot remember where I got it from. I might have picked it up online, I might have picked it up at a show. But these things are great because literally they're very heavy in that you just put it where you want it and apply a little bit of pressure, and I'm just going to focus back in. I think you can just see there now Where that white patch is, there is a little kind of bump, and that's my starting point for my drilling. Now, drills. What I found was with the lift rings, I needed a 0.4 millimeter hole. I tried 0.3, and 0.3 was ever slightly too small. And so I decided that I would go for 0.4. So here is, hang on a second, where's my camera? I can't see it. Oh, there we go. There's my 0.4, me writing 0.4 on the side. I buy these in sets. You can pick them up on eBay. They're tungsten. They are generally quite strong, but when they're this fine, just be very careful. Someone actually said to me, let the drill do the work. Don't push it, otherwise you're going to snap it. So we just line that up with the hole that I've made and just twist. Sorry, my hands are getting in the way here, but there's no other way of doing this. As I said, short of me getting a cameraman or camera person. The dad of a daughter, I should always remember that. And you can just see the plastic sort of, starting to come up there. But eventually it will just... Now, it's quite possible that where I'm drilling, it's drilling into the thickness of the side. So I'm just going to pull it out and then push it back in again. And you see, that's actually gone quite deep. So I think it's not going to go all the way through. And I've just done what I said you shouldn't do. And I've broken my drill bit. Okay. Right, I'm going to just take this off camera just for a moment, just to recover this. It is possible. I just need to get the broken bit out of there. Okay, here we are back in the model railway room. So I've managed to rescue this with a little bit of effort. So what I was able to do using another drill bit was just drill this out a little bit, and the lift ring, I've had to cut a lot of the stem off to make it fit, but I've glued it in, so all's good. You would never have noticed. In the meantime, I've fitted this one here, and now we've just got to fit this one. As you can see, I managed to scrape a little bit of the paint when I was cutting off the nub. Not a problem. And literally what we do is I'm just going to get the little ring. So I've got it in my tweezers here, and I'm going to, oops, hopefully not knock everything over. I'm going to dip it in a little super glue, CA, whatever you want to call it, and then turn this over, and this literally just goes into this little hole here. That down, and there, we're done. So that's how you do it. Also how you don't do it. Luckily I had another 0.4 mil drill bit. The other thing that I did whilst I was off screen recovering was to fit the O-rings here, and on the other side here. I just think you can see them. They're on GP38s as well. Okay, so that's the lift rings sorted. It was funny that actually things went wrong, because I always think that sometimes that's the best way to learn how to do things. But anyway, so we've got these 3 lift rings fitted. I will touch them up with some paint later. I won't bore you with painting, but it's, painting is painting, as they say. Okay, so the next thing is some grab irons. So I've got some of my 18-inch drop grab irons from Atlas, which I spoke about last time. I've got them here on this little, I say white dish. It's obviously had some black paint in it at some point, but that doesn't matter. Now, I've already, you can see here, fitted the ones to the rear, just to get them in. And also just so that I could make sure that I'm doing them properly. And getting the spacing right, etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this around and we'll look at the front. Okay, so before we start drilling, etc., which is pretty much the same as how I did with the lift rings, I just want to take you back to the article in the September 2021 edition of Trains. And one of the things that they said about fitting grab irons was to use a strip of styrene, which is 0.30 of an inch thick by 0.156 of an inch wide. So this is basically the closest I had. So this is evergreen number 117. So it's the correct width, which is 4 millimeters or 0.156 of an inch. But it's only half as thick as suggested. So what I've done is I've taken a piece and I've actually laminated two bits together. So you can see, I think just from here, you can see that there's one piece laminated. There we go. You can see that now, one piece laminated on top of another. So that gives us the correct thickness for putting the grab irons on, because the grab irons need to stand proud of the body slightly. So when we turn this around, the number of grab irons that we're going to put on the front is 4. So we have one here, there's one on the side here, and one on top of the nose. And I'm just going to focus a little bit on these. So you can see that Atlas have included on the grab irons, just above the little nub, a little point, and that's your drill starter point. However, I do suggest, as I've done with the lift rings, is using some kind of tool just to make those a little bit wider. So I'm going to just start with this one. I'm going to pop just a bit of pressure on there. And again, let's just focus on that. And you can see those drill starter points are just a lot more prominent now. Now for the handrails, I have got, this is, believe it or not, a 0.3 millimeter drill bit. And again, don't put too much pressure on this. Now this is the worst place to do it, so apologies that my hands are in the way, but you've got to kind of support it with every turn. There we go, it's starting to go in now. And again, this is a case of not letting, don't apply too much pressure. Just let your drill bit do the work, like that. That's done. And we're going to do the other one. Same again. Let the drill bit do the work. Just apply enough pressure. And then that, there we go, we'll go through. Okay, so once your holes are drilled, we're going to put this down for a second, and I am going to retrieve one of these. So obviously it's a drop handle, so you want the drop bit to go downwards. Let me just bring this up here. That should, if I'm lucky, and I've done it right, just go straight in there, like so. So that's in there, and let's just come out a little bit. And we put our spacer in between, and then we just press down on it. We're going to turn this around and hopefully get enough light that you can see what I'm about to do. So we're just going to, you can see in here the two wires poking through. So I am going to get a micro brush and dab this in with a CA. Here we go. And apply that. Might need a little bit more, but apply that to the back and let it dry. So I'm going to do the others, and then we're going to come back in a minute and then show you the end result. Okay, so I'm re-recording this bit because my microphone just died on me. That's the problem with having a wireless mic. So here we are, body shell. This stage is fairly much complete. So we now have all of the lift rings on the top. We have the ones at the ends that I showed you, and the grab irons. We now have the 4 at the front, and as I did earlier, the ones at the rear. It's a fiddly job. I really wish that even on the cheap locos they would fit at least the grab irons. I know that Athern do these days, so it's becoming less and less of a task. Anyway, but all I need to do with that now is paint it, so I will do that separately. But I just wanted to show you, this is my Project 2790 bits box. So I tried to put all of my bits in here, and just going through some of the things that I've got. So I've decided that I'm going to fit a Blunami PMP8 decoder to this locomotive. So I'm going to pair that with an iPhone 4 speaker and a Lice DCC Keep Alive, just like I did with the locomotive that I showed you a couple of weeks ago, the MP15, the Union Railroad MP15. Going through my bits box, we spoke about snowplows. Gordy Robinson, the president of the NMRA, who happens to live over here in the UK, contacted me and showed me his extensive selection of snowplows, and there were 2 likely looking candidates that were both the same, so he kindly sent them down to me. Unfortunately, they were a bit big for what I needed for this project, so I sent them back to him. And another friend, Keith Renshaw, contacted me and said that he had 2 snowplows from an Atlas GP38, and he's very kindly sent them to me, so I've got this matching pair. They are exactly the same as the snowplow that was originally fitted to this, so I have got a spare one. So once I've finished the project, hopefully I'll have a spare one going if anybody needs one. But these are almost correct. They satisfy my 90% correct edict, as it were, the way that I do these things. But you know, I've looked around and I cannot find anything that is exactly perfect for this project. Just a couple of other bits that I've got hold of. I spoke about multiple unit cables. I've got this set which I've had for a long time, that unfortunately one of the cables is broken but isn't irreparable, so I could potentially use these, and these are very similar to what's on the locomotive. I managed to get hold of another set. Unfortunately, these are mounted differently, so I won't be using these on this project, but I will keep hold of them. And I have got some air hoses. So as well as the multiple unit cables, each end has a air hose, which I was missing, which wasn't impossible. I could have made it another way, but these castings came up on eBay, so I grabbed them for this project. So that's everything so far for Project 2790. Yeah, So I think let's go back up from the workbench and finish the video. Okay, that's it for this video. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please join my over 1,000 subscribers. Click subscribe, and when the bell comes up, press it and hit all, and you will be notified of all of my videos. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to put them in the comments below, or if not, you can email me at this email address. But that's it for this video. I will be back soon with either an update on Brooklyn Park, or possibly the next part of Project 2790, or even it could be a live action video. I am heading up to London in a day or so, so watch this space. But this is Steve, the British Railroader, saying goodbye for now from my model railroad room. Bye-bye.